for me, it's a very show that talks about a lot of pain, or came from a lot of pain. And I want to understand how people get to a place where it is so painful, but then come out on the other side. When you think about like addict, imagine calling this, and I didn't know that was abusive. You know, I'm kind of looking at that now like, yeah, that's abusive. I'm way more than that. You know what I mean? Even at your worst, you're even way more than that. You know what I mean? Or you've
always been way more than
that. Yeah,
that.
that's what I'm saying.
Always been.
But yeah, you don't think like that. Welcome to Real Talk TV. I'm your host, Darryl Buchanan. I'd like to thank all you guys who liked the show, who shared the show, and please subscribe to the channel. I have another good show for you. Today I have two guests. I have Jerry Randall, founder and CEO of Hardcore Connections. I have Alyssa Frates, passionate resource broker for multiple agencies. Just lean in, check out the show. Hey guys, how you doing?
Doing well, Darryl, thank you.
Hey, thanks for coming in. Can you tell me a little bit about yourself? Your environment, where you grew up?
Okay, so I was born in the summer of '84. No, you don't want to go back that far. So I was born in Malden, Massachusetts. Lived in Malden and Medford first few years of my life. Dad carried a badge in West Roxbury for 22 years.
Wow.
Grew up mostly in Easton. You know, that's kind of where I experienced a lot of my stuff, and that's where I started experimenting with nefarious activities. I'll put it that way. You know, I grew up in a home where there was a lot of drinking, right? And I thought that was just part of the culture, right? I knew what an alcoholic was. I had alcoholics in my family, and was under that firm belief that because I'm aware of what it is, Darryl, it couldn't be me, right? Thinking I was impervious to that. And then thinking I just need to stay away from alcohol, which, you know, I started experimenting with the dry goods, as they say, at a young age. You know, I was about 15, 16 when I started experimenting with cocaine. You know, my brother was in a band, you know, that played with, you know, Skid Row, Dogfight, Fistagon, you know, some bands, you know, in late 90s, early 2000s, and started experimenting with cocaine there. You know, drugs and alcohol are very synonymous with that industry.
Can we stop being ahead of me?
Okay, my bad.
All right, cool. How about you?
Well, I grew up in Taunton pretty much my whole life.
Okay.
Both my parents were addicts, so in the late 90s, my father had the virus, along with about 8 other people in my family. Like my mother's brother had the virus, my father's brother had it. So basically, I just grew up around drugs, and almost like it was like a normal thing. I never seen anybody get up and do a 9 to 5 or like anything really productive, besides people coming in and out. And like, I knew my parents had money because, like, you know, my family had gold chains and all that, and that's what they would trade. But like in the 90s and having the virus, the amount of things that were so close to me already, like, you know, my father had a drawer of anything you can think of: fentanyl, Percocets, Oxycontin, whatever. So in 8th grade, that's when I started. I wanted to be cool, like the other kids, because we were hanging out with older kids that had pills and whatever. So I'm like, I can get shit. I didn't know what it was, but you know, like the first time I ever took his pills, it was like OC80s, not knowing how strong they are or what they are. And I decided to split that with a friend and OD for the first time on an OC80 at 14.
So, so was your drug of choice at the end? I mean, was it cocaine in the beginning, or did...
It was cocaine and cannabis in the beginning, and then
Did it evolve?
Graduated. Yeah, so I tore my hip out in '06, crashed a dirt bike, and that was my first introduction to opioids. You know, and I was prescribed opioids for a few years before graduating to heroin.
Cool. How about you? What was your drug of choice?
Opiates.
Like me, more?
Well, I was just gonna say, I mean, like anything you probably gave me, even if it's Tylenol, I don't know, for some reason I'd
Yeah.
But it was opiates more because that's what I could get my hands on at that time. And then I, you know, just polysubstance throughout the years.
All right, so what was the bitter ends like for you?
The bitter end?
Yeah, whew, the bitter end.
The bitter end, man. So I actually, so that made me push to recovery, or at least start my recovery journey. So I actually had 40% of my femur removed. I contracted what's called Pseudomonas-induced osteomyelitis. It's a
What the hell is that?
So basically, it's a flesh-eating bacteria, that lives in water, right? I got that
So
from...
you was injected?
So, yeah,
Intravenous?
Yeah, yeah.
I mean,
Injected
yeah,
everything,
all right.
Daryl, you know. And at the end of my run was methamphetamine and opioids mixed together. I was a goofballer. But I got an infection in my hip, called my mom because I wasn't able to walk. She flew me up, you know, and that was when I was trying to engage in not recovery yet, but abstinence. Made it 10 months, 3 days without working the program, picked back up, you know, went on a few month tear, which ended in another overdose. Then I said, let's try this recovery thing.
Cool. How about you? What was the beginnings like for you?
Jails, institutions, and death, like they say. Like, you know what I'm saying? I got charges. I got put on, you know, probation.
You was locked up too before?
Yeah, not like, you know, I didn't do some hard time.
No, I know. I'm
But
just
yeah.
locked up. And when you,
like I got
locked
put
up
on.
is locked up, right?
Yeah.
Your freedom's removed, bro.
Well, you know, I got kind of lucky because it was during COVID, so I didn't have to do as probably much time as
Good,
like I had to. But just probation, that I ended up in septic, like fully septic in the hospital, and had to stay there for like 2 months plus another 6 months.
What does that mean?
So I did so much substances that like my body shut down, and where I was, I got left there instead of like, you know, somebody calling.
helping you.
I got left there for 3 days. So like when, you know, my body shut down, like I'm literally dying.
And you was by yourself?
Yeah, well,
Wow.
no.
No?
There might have been somebody in and out. But I stayed on the floor for 3 days before they found me. So I got like pressure wounds, like places. So my infection was so bad that like I thought I was going to have to amputate my leg, and just, it was bad. But being in the hospital for that long and being in a bed, just like, I had a lot of time to think. Because I was like, I thought I wanted to die. I was looking for bridges to jump off of. And then I'm like, Alyssa, you know your luck. Like, if you jump off this, you're probably not dying. You're probably just going to break something. So like, let's, you know. Like, but I prayed every day to die until I literally woke up 6 days later in a coma in a hospital and was like, I really don't want to die. But I just really want like a normal life. Like,
Good. You know, one thing I did want to talk about, when I met you, you know, you were very, you spoke a language that I understood, that I loved, and that's supporting multiple pathways. You know, we talk about all this breaking the stigma outside, you know, our community, but there's stigma inside the community that's probably creating barriers for people that need to come in. I want to talk a little bit about your pathway, and you know, because it's different from the traditional pathway, but it is a pathway that worked for you. Tell me a little bit.
Sure. So, I mean, my early recovery was methadone and cannabis. It's an honest program, right? I can say that these days, man. You know,
Thank God,
my
man.
recovery was very much a harm reduction approach.
Okay.
You know, I was unable to keep the cravings at bay long enough to follow through with the work, and I had many unsuccessful attempts, man. So it was suggested to me, why don't I try methadone? You know, it could help suppress some cravings, suppress withdrawal symptoms to make the treatment a little bit smoother, and that's what I did, man. You know, in early recovery, I've had an anxiety disorder diagnosed since I was 12. You know, so anxiety was very much a thing, and even more so, it's a symptom of post-acute withdrawal. And I had to smoke breakfast, lunch, and dinner, man, or I wouldn't be able to leave the house. You know, I wouldn't be able to get out there. I wouldn't be able to get to a meeting. You know, and there was only a couple people that I felt comfortable sharing that with. You know, and I feel like that can keep people out there too, right? Thinking that I need to be
100%.
completely abstinent and just white knuckle it through these cravings. You don't need to do that, man.
Yeah.
We don't need to do that. You know,
Isn't it, Jerry? Isn't it more about if my pathway is not locking me up, I'm not hurting people, I can be present in people's lives, I can work a job. You know, if I'm the consequences of hurting people, hurting myself, if that's gone.
And what's it to you?
That's
Then
what I'm
what's it
saying.
to you? Right? Why are you taking my inventory, man?
Yeah.
You know?
What about you?
I feel the same way. Like, I've been on methadone, Suboxone, Vivitrol. Like, I've done it all too. I had 2 kids on methadone because when I first was trying to get clean, that was like what was suggested to me was methadone. And like, you know, I didn't really know much about it. I just knew that like this is going to help me feel better and, you know, be able to like be a better mom and get up. Then like I'll try it, you know? I mean, I didn't stay on like too long because the whole everyday thing, but I think that anyway is good. Like
Do you support people in that pathway? I mean, when we talk in the community.
So yeah, absolutely. Like you said, I think it's more like people have something to say about people on MATs. Like, you know, I got clean in a 12-step program, right? So you hear that, right? Yeah. I don't necessarily believe that because I walked into that program on Suboxone, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then I was forced to go there by probation, and you know, eventually though, I think that 12-step program is what really helped me find recovery. Like, but I think maintenance and like all that is what like gave me that step to even wanna like
Even more, yeah. I mean,
be
at
there.
least prepared you. You know what I mean?
Listen,
If
you can
yeah.
you can be on a soccer team, and if that's what like
Yeah.
is helping you and like you got supportive, that's what it's about. It's like if you have the right people that are supportive and like you're happy, bro, go play golf, tennis, hang
Yeah.
from the ceiling. I don't know, whatever works for you, I'm down for. Because like if I didn't have methadone, I was at Walmart probably maybe robbing your grandmother because
Yeah.
like I'd be waiting for like old ladies to like steal their purse, as bad as that is. But that's the kind of person I am when I'm not taking something
get
like
it.
MATs or I'm not in recovery. So
No,
like,
I get it. No, I appreciate that. And we really have to start stigmatizing that. Yeah, tell me a little bit about hardcore connections.
Okay, baby. So that's what we do is we're
Yeah,
smash
that-
the
because when I
stigmas,
met you,
right?
yeah.
'Cause, right, when we say we know the opposite of addiction is connection.
Cool.
Right, and the opposite of stigma is education. So that's kind of what Hardcore Connections was built on, right? So this is an acronym. We help against relapse and drug addiction by providing community outreach, recovery, education,
Wow.
connections, right? And all the people that work in the field will
I
get,
like
a
it,
good,
just-
we'll get a good
Right.
chuckle at that, right? There's so many acronyms and no one knows what the heck they mean, Daryl. So I figured I'd have a little fun with it. You know?
No, that's cool. man.
And basically what it is, it's to help individuals identify when someone is in need of support, educate about appropriate levels of support, and then help bridge those connections to help build your recovery capital, right? So whatever that is, you know, and like I wanted to add too, like it wasn't just methadone and cannabis that got me sober. If that was the case, I'd still be on methadone and cannabis, you know,
Yeah.
smoking breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Yeah.
I don't smoke breakfast, lunch, and dinner every day.
Yeah.
anymore, you know what I mean?
No, I get it. No, I get it.
You know, it's like Alyssa said, it's about, you know, some fellowship and just really individualizing, you know, and looking at someone as an individual, you know, and what would benefit you, right? So like that, I was blessed with people in my early recovery that did hardcore things, right? Like we'd go fishing, we'd go in the woods, blow stuff up, shoot guns, you know, we'd go on retreats and do cool stuff. And that was what kept me engaged and got juices flowing. So that's kind of some of the things that we do at Hardcore Connections too, you know,
Good.
is really try to invigorate, right? Meet individuals where they're at without with compassion, without judgment. You know, we provide harm reduction materials, you know, and plant little seeds of hope. You know, but our main focus is providing that education, right? What is an appropriate level of care, and then get rid of that Burger King versus McDonald's mentality in the treatment world. Man, I can't
Yeah.
stand that, right? And so we
That's
bridge,
us, right?
we bridge connections between agencies and agencies to make it smoother for an individual to travel through that continuum. You know, there's a lot of moving parts in the recovery community. There's a lot of staff changes, program changes, insurance changes. Where do you find that? Do you Google that? No, you call Hardcore Connections, right? And we'll help you identify that education and information, and then provide a warm handoff somewhere.
Good.
To help you get your needs met.
Hardcore Connections. Tell me a little bit about the work. You do a lot of work, you know, in the community, the recovery community. Tell me a little bit about it. Tell me why you like it. Do you have any success stories of people you watched come in that you had hands on that got this thing?
yeah. So because I got clean and I was at my worst in like Taunton, I've been able to like do a lot of connections in that community.
In the Taunton community?
Yeah,
Yeah.
like I've on the board with the mayor, like trying to like help them decipher where they want the substance abuse grant money to like go. I'm like the only one with lived experience on that. And like to be brought on to that was cool because like the mayor actually cares what I think. But I've made
good
like
stuff.
you know, I got to speak at Taunton Overdose Awareness Day because like they know that the community has most of them, like if I go to the methadone clinic to table for another job, people come up to me and they're like I give them hope, I guess, because like they have actually seen me. You can hear somebody talk and like, you know, relate to their story. But of course it's different when like you've seen this person so bad and like now you see me now that like I have
100%.
almost every day, like when I'm at work or something, I would have somebody come up to me and be like, it's so good to see you. Like you gave me hope like that. Like I can change my life. Or like I always tell everybody, if I can do it, dude, like I wish I could play a videotape of like who I was and like yeah. So that I just want to say that me and Jerry met because of my very first detox ever.
Yeah.
He was the RS. So
Recovery specialist there. Yeah, I was a recovery specialist.
yeah,
there
he
at
was,
the time.
and I just was so mean to him because like I just didn't want you in my room and I wanted to try to sleep. But that's how we met at my very
Yeah.
first detox.
Don't mind
Do you
me,
have-
just making sure you're breathing. It's fine, you know?
No, yeah, go to group. I'm like, no.
So, but what? You were working in this other place. I don't know if we can speak on it, but why Hardcore Connections? What was? I mean, you just told me what it was about.
So,
but what?
This was my dream, Daryl, right? So this was on my goal list. You know, I created a PowerPoint for this in 2016, right? This was on my to-do list and my treatment plan when I was on CSS unit in Brockton High Point, right? I didn't know what I wanted to do yet, but I knew that every time I thought about engaging in support services, it wasn't the easiest to find out which ones. And it gives me goosebumps, right?
Right.
If you Google treatment man, some treatment agencies have phenomenal search engine optimization, right? So if I search detox, I might get stuff that's in Lowell. I'm in Fall River. You know what I mean? Like, saying I know there's limited spots, but and it's really hard to decipher, So I've encountered a lot of these barriers and stigma through my own journey, and I never want anyone else to experience that. So anything I can do to help improve low barrier guided access to support services is near and dear to my heart.
Let me ask you. I asked you about a success story. Do you have one? Not you, but to you, somebody that you've seen, like
man.
you've seen
Well,
her
that's-
change. I mean, just because those are the things.
She's one
This
right
is
here
your
now,
success
right? And
story.
I've seen probably 15 cats today. Today was the more recovery day at the Boston Common, and it does it's something to my soul, man. Cats coming, and you see them charging, walking fast across, and they come and say thank you. It's a no, bro.
Wow.
Thank you.
That's the win.
I didn't help. You know what I mean? That's not me. You did this. You know what I mean? I just helped segue you. A bridge of connection, for you on your journey, man.
Yeah.
It's super cool. Man.
The stuff everybody came up to you today? Probably a bunch.
Today? Yeah, but I think the success story,
I mean, I know you see people that you've seen
say.
come in and now
I'm
they're
trying to
doing.
see, like when I did drug court, like I was the first, should I say recovery court?
Recovery court. Stop.
Recovery
Smash
court.
the stigma, girl.
My bad.
Yeah, no,
Next week. When I was the first recovery coach in like recovery court and stuff, obviously I was like working with these people and I understood what it was like to be on that and like, you can go anywhere from like a year to like 3 years if you really want to stay on it. And like
And that's in recovery court?
yeah.
Wow.
Well, like if you keep offending, like if you keep
Oh, you keep
messing
going back
up,
on? They don't
you
kick
gotta
you off?
keep going back on. So like, some people fly right through it and it's like about a year. Then it's 18 months. Then I had some people that were on there for like almost 3 years. But like once for some reason they got me in there to like kind of talk to them one-on-one, like what's really going on, because like they're not going to be honest with like their POs. They started to do better and I got to go to like graduations where like I got shout outs that like, they graduated because like I helped them or like they're still out there now today, like having families and like, real jobs and like, I helped them do that. They did the work, but like.
Yeah, gotcha. Let me ask you, if you had a chance to change one thing about the recovery system tomorrow, what would it be? What do you see that's missing? Do you see anything that's missing, either one of you?
I see many things missing.
So what will be
that needs
changed?
to be changed, right? Because it is very much an imperfect system,
Yeah,
One of the big barriers I see, right, is it substance use as a primary diagnosis or a mental health as a primary diagnosis? Because that'll create a barrier, right? If you have mental health as a primary diagnosis, because that's what you were diagnosed with first, now you can only access mental health treatment, right?
Wow.
Or insurance has different coverages, so that's a big thing too. And I think a lot of agencies and treatment centers out there, Daryl, have self-imposed barriers, right? I don't want to speak, just go to negative town with it, but it's an imperfect system, or there's a lot of misinformation out there.
It is.
That's a big part of it too, but the biggest one, man, the biggest issue is the stigma that's out there, and the judgment that comes along with someone choosing a certain way or claiming to be in recovery because they're trying to use less, man, I think that's the biggest thing, is the biggest critics and discouragement is from, other people in recovery, unfortunately.
All right, cool. What are some of your goals, your personal goals and professional goals for the future? Alyssa? What do you, in the future, what do you see, if I said to you, where would you be in 5 years? Where do you want to be in 5 years? What?
The White House, no.
Yeah,
go.
she's
I'm aiming high. No,
There it is.
I don't know, like someday I want like my own stuff. Like I want like my own nonprofit.
There it is. Yeah.
You know what I mean? I want to do my own thing, like, but I like that the public speaking is not my thing, but I want it to be my thing. Like I feel like I have a different, like, you know, I'm very open-minded. I have a different look. I think I have a lot to bring because of my uniqueness.
Yeah.
That like I can get to different types of people, and I'm, you know, going to church and my faith and everything. I feel like my job, because I'm so different, is to get to people that are different and like make them not feel like, you know, this stigma or like, you know, like bad.
They're not
about
going to be
themselves.
accepted.
Yeah.
So why don't we talked about that at the thing? Why don't you pursue that? I mean, if that could be your purpose.
I mean, I
That's-
also want to be a TikTok famous star, but I'm not doing that, you know. But
But no, seriously, why don't you pursue that? We talked about that before. You know, when these dreams are placed in us, or these goals, and then we start aligning with them. I mean, that's our purpose. So you just spoke to your future, and it just needs you to chase that. I can see where it can be helpful.
I mean, like, I'm kind of doing some work with, like I said, the city of Taunton, with all that grant money. One of the jobs is the job that I kind of, like, came up with. The lady who got it, though, is, you know, going to make sure that some of that money, like, I'm, like, involved and, like, it's going to help me kind of do my thing out there, too.
All right. That's good. I just want to encourage you to chase that. I mean, I'm sure Jerry and Wade both, you know, encourage you. Yeah, you have to. You know what I mean? One thing, right, we didn't get clean to live a mediocre life, right? And I don't know about you, but like you said, I'm not big on, I don't mind helping people, but if I'm not building anybody else's dreams, I'm going to build my own. You know what I'm saying? If I'm going to put that investment. So that's, you know, you do a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, and put it on paper, man.
Yeah,
One
you
of
do
my
a lot.
favorite.
So if you're doing a lot, imagine if that was for you. And so you can bring your perspective to this community, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, don't hold yourself back.
Write it down. One of my favorite quotes.
Yeah.
A dream put on paper becomes a goal broken down into steps becomes a plan put into action becomes reality.
That's a fact. Somebody told me that if it's not on paper, it's not going anywhere.
There it is. It's just gonna keep floating
That's the
around.
truth. No,
keep
somebody
floating
told me
around
that.
up there, you know?
Stephanie Barbosa told me that today.
Yeah, that's somebody really.
Twice in a day, dude.
Yeah.
All right, let me ask you a question.
My notebook.
What if you was to talk to somebody that in the community, in our community, I'm talking about in the Big Cubby community, and you wanted them to understand the benefits of all pathways, right? What would you say to them?
What's it to you? How someone
After that,
how someone chooses to recover, right? We don't get to choose how someone's disease progressed. So why should we get to choose or dictate how their recovery progresses, right?
And don't you think in our community that there's an evolution, there's something happening that, and I'm not saying the old ways doesn't work, but I just think that the more roads, the better for more people, right? I told you I went to a meeting and I brought this guy to the meeting, and he spoke. I mean, he was a newcomer and he said some stuff, and it was like, you know what I mean? Yeah. I was asked not to go to that meeting anymore. They shouldn't ask me if I wasn't gonna go back anyway.
I get it. I've literally been shunned. You know, I remember when I was talking, I was proud to decide to come off the clinic and set up a plan, to blind taper off. And, and I raised my hand and spoke about it in a meeting. I had an old timer stop me, Daryl. This is Alcoholics Anonymous. Like, wow.
It said the same thing to me.
Same thing. And it put a bad taste in my mouth. Thank God I had phenomenal people in my life and a phenomenal sponsor. It said, F that guy, Jerry. You're not here for him. You're here for you and your wellness.
Yeah.
Which got me back in the seat, and then.
And I think what happens is, for me, my view, that newcomer, I think he was a newcomer, the guy. The most important guy, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
The most important person. I think we're losing that in our community. But I want to ask you, how important do you think is people's voices? How important is it to make sure the voices of people with lived experience stay front and center?
Oh, of the utmost importance, man.
Yeah.
Right? Stay vocal, stay visible, stay valuable. It's a more, it's a more thing. Stay vocal, stay visible, you stay valuable.
Yeah.
And that's on the more shirts, you know. You know, I think it's that's up and people sharing, you know, what has worked, what didn't work, you know, and to mitigate some of that stigma alone and mitigate some of that judgment, you know.
What is the biggest challenge you face in your life, in your recovery on a day-to-day basis? What do what is one thing like that is a challenge? Like for me, it's at this point, it's making my meetings a priority again because I'm around people and I'm in this community and the work that I do, sometimes I think that's enough. You know what I mean? I remember I worked for Spectrum and I was working at the recovery and I'm like, wow. And people say, go to meetings, man. I am in meetings all day with people. You know what I mean? Yeah. What do you think is the big? That was always my challenge.
I don't necessarily like all my jobs. I consider like, you know, this is what, I don't have to go to a meeting. This is enough.
That's what my attitude.
But like making meetings is hard for me. One, because I don't want to go out of town because like I have, you know, young kids and, you know, I don't want to get home at 11 o'clock at night. So I stay in my town and I try to go to meetings, but you know, they say it's an anonymous program. It's totally not an anonymous program. Like you always have some people in there that are sicker than others. And like, unfortunately, because of all the work that I do in different communities and people who know me or whatever, I can't go into a meeting and actually be honest no more or like say that I'm hurting or that because at the end of the day, there's always at least one person in there that because people know who you are, or like even when you go to meetings and like the girls in the sober houses, I have no problem talking to you. But guess what? We're on the same. We're the same, dude. We're the same. I was where you are. Like you'll get maybe where I am. Whatever. I don't like the way they talk about me. I feel like I can't be honest, and they think that like if they have a one up on me at one point in their life, like it's gonna matter. Like or like they wanna always have something maybe to use against you so they can like gain something, but like in reality, I'm just trying to recover like you do. I don't care what I do on the outside. Like I'm here to like help me and heal me, but at the same time, it's like I'm scared to fully get into it because of that.
Huh?
Yeah.
That's probably one of my biggest challenges too, and it's wild. I was just walking up to the studio from the market up there and having this conversation. You know, once you exceed a certain point in your recovery. For me, it was 5 years. Once I surpassed 5 years, I felt like I had to keep this persona of wellness on, which was so far from the truth because it was fear-based, right? Because I figured if I put something out there that I'm having a hard time with my anxiety or I'm struggling with this, that someone's going to think less of me, less of my recovery, right? Which is fear-based, you know. But so to have a safe space where you can live and speak your truth, man, you know, is a big part of that.
Yeah, the pain and what we experience different levels as you go. You know what I mean? Year, 2 years, 3 years, recovery looks different. Those pains come, you know, that we dealt with, they still come back. You know, and you're still human, and you're feeling. So you're gonna have all. And you're right. People will judge you based on that. Well, he must be not doing his recovery. He must not be doing this, or he must be 13, whatever it is, right? There's always something, right?
She is.
Thank God we don't shoot our wounded, right? Nobody would be here.
That's it.
You know what I mean? Jay, I want to ask a little bit, hardcore connections. How do people get in touch with you? What exactly the service that you have, the service that you offer?
That's an easy one, man. So to get in touch with us, go to our website, hardcoreconnections.com, hit start a connection, put your information in there in the comments, you know, speak to some of your needs or connections that you may be looking for. If you're not sure, just put your name in there and someone from the team will give you a call. We're located in Plymouth, Mass. You can get us on Google, right? We're on Google too.
We'll put it on at the end of the show, too.
Okay, nice.
Above the Peer Center.
Our Instagram, sorry?
We're above the Peer Center in Plymouth.
I'm above the Plymouth Recovery Center, right? So you can pop in and see us there.
So
That's where my office is. Yep, is upstairs in the Plymouth Recovery Center. And what was the other part of that question?
What services, so for instance, what do you offer? Like somebody, wants to get in touch with you. what do you offer? Like, where
So
can you guide them?
Kind of to summarize, we are like the ultimate treatment.
Are you like a middleman?
We're like the ultimate treatment triage, navigator, recovery tour guide, if you will, right? So I help an individual or family member identify, if someone is in need of support, what that level of support is, and then bridge that connections. What makes us different is we screen through all 6 dimensions of the ASAM criteria, where historically an agency, wherever your level of care, will screen for 1 or 2. Right, and I've learned this. I was a clinician inpatient for a few years before transitioning out, and becoming the director of another treatment center. But
So you saw all the flaws.
I saw this, right? I worked on an ATS, and then I worked on a detox unit, and then a CSS unit, right? So I'd work on, 2 and 3 of the treatment, the ASAM dimensions, only those, and then I'd have that same patient 2 weeks later on CSS working on the community-based dimensions. I'm like, dude, I could have identified these barriers and challenges 3 weeks ago and started spitballing solutions, right? So we do that assessment out the gate. And then another thing that makes us different is we're gonna stay with you, right? Historically, agencies won't—
Through the whole process.
Exactly. Agencies won't stay with you because they can't bill for it when you go inpatient. Right?
Okay.
And billing creates a barrier, insurance creates a barrier. We don't care. I'm not in this to make money. I'm in this to help people, man. And bridge some of those gaps where people can increase an opportunity for risk or relapse. So, and we have cats call us. We help get them into a treatment center, and they'll call us because they're not comfortable. They don't have that therapeutic rapport with their clinician yet. So they'll call us and be like, hey, how many days am I here? Do you think they'll give me my phone so I can get my doctor's number out? Some of these questions that they don't feel comfortable to help keep that individual
And you guys
there.
go ahead.
And we do that,
Wow.
I provide in-service. I do overdose education, Narcan distribution, trainings, skilled nursing facilities. Dental Association of Rhode Island was a more recent one that we did some trainings, but was education and connections to supports, man, to improve quality of life.
That's good stuff, man. How's it being a mom and you're clean and being a mom? What's life like?
It's hard.
It's tough.
Yeah, I ain't gonna say him like it's easy.
No, I just,
You know what I'm saying? It's hard. It's
But it's
hard.
tough, but I know you're happy. I mean,
It's like, you know what I mean? Like, you can't, you can fail, but you can't fail. You know what I mean? At the same time, you're gonna make sure, okay, well, I'm slacking on my meetings, but now what can I figure out to do? Because I have to keep going because I have kids. Or I can't go to this meeting because my son has soccer practice or or something. You know what I mean? You have to put them first, but you got to put your recovery first. And I'm not gonna lie, in the beginning, the trying to find the balance just wasn't for
that's
me.
a tough one.
Or you know what I mean?
You have young kids?
16, 14, 7.
Yeah, so, yeah.
The older ones, they're all right. It's the smallest.
Yeah.
No, not like
I
that.
agree.
The 7-year-old. Well,
They
seven-
need that. I mean, yeah.
Yeah,
So,
the
and it is a
7-year-old is the one that I would have to drag with me or, do something like that. But at the end of the day, what's worth it is my kids didn't talk to me 3 years ago. My daughter hated me. And today I get to eavesdrop on my daughter, talking to a friend about how her mom's been clean for this many years and blah, blah, blah. Or that I show up today and I'm at every basketball game for her or
Good.
I have good relationships with my kids and that's what matters.
Yeah.
But I also like that they got to see me mess up in life because I want them to know that no matter what, you can get yourself out of something if you work hard and want it.
Yeah, good. No, that's good, yeah. Being a parent. All right, cool. Is there anything else you guys want to say? I mean, you want to add anything? No questions is up.
How much time we got, man?
Must have, I mean, yeah. But I also, before we end, I want you guys to talk to somebody. Or
So
just give them a message. I don't care.
I just want to add, man, if
But,
if you don't know how to help someone, don't hurt them, right?
Wow.
Don't be judging people, just love them. Just love them, man.
And that's missing, man. But one thing, when I walked in the stairway, I got love. I'm not gonna lie, and I think that's what got me to go back. But I go a lot of places, and the love is not really at the front door anymore.
Oh, yeah.
You have to go in and find it, and usually it's the first
You
thing.
come to Plymouth Recovery Center, Daryl. There's all sorts of love there, man.
I'm gonna go up there. I'm
PRC.
definitely gonna
My
get
PRC
the next
people
week. For real?
are phenomenal people. Come on up, man.
All right, cool. So yeah, so there's somebody struggling, or maybe somebody that doesn't know a parent or that doesn't know how to help their child. What would you say to them? This is your camera. Take your time. Take as much time you want, and just give your message.
I'd say call me. It's that simple.
Oh,
It's that simple.
Call me,
833-427-6739.
We'll put all the
Just
information
call
up
me.
at the end of the show.
Just call me.
Do you have anything that you want, a message you want to leave? Maybe to a woman suffering and doesn't think that she'll ever have a relationship with her kids out there in the streets and, don't know what to do. You've been through it. You got that back. Let her know that it works.
It works if you find the right support. Again, like I said, I don't think I would have been able to necessarily do everything myself because I'm the type of person, I don't have no family. They're all pretty much dead or incarcerated. So I had to find my people to try to help me. And I don't even know. I had a whole thing in my head and then you went first.
Hold on, pain ends.
Yeah.
Right, one of my favorite acronyms is have hope. Have hope, man.
Just thinking you're never gonna, I remember being in a detox with a cupboard and having pictures of my kids and just crying because I lost them to DCF twice in 1 year, right?
I
So I'm I ain't never getting them back, you know what I mean? But I just kept doing more than what was asked. I got off of probation early. I got off probation early. The things that DCF, my plan, I did more than that. So before they told me to do something, I was already in the office. So I signed up for parenting classes, IOP, whatever. I just always did more. They sent me to the Community Justice Support Center for probation. I knew I wanted to change. I didn't know how to change because again, I grew up around all addicts and none of them were productive members of society. They thought selling and using drugs was it in life. So when I got to the Community Justice Support Center, I asked them to do more classes than I was mandated to because I wanted to change and I didn't know how. So feel whatever way works for somebody, but you put in the work. As long as you put in the work, you can find something to help you with
It
your
works
recovery.
if you work it.
Yeah.
And you're worth it.
It's
Let's work it.
Do you have any closing message, Wade?
Twerk Tuesdays is what keeps me clean.
You can say something if you want to say something. You can come up if you want to say something. And
Come on up, Ski.
I'm want to know what keeps me clean?
Put him on the spot.
Twerk
he's just gonna
Tuesdays.
give a message, and I want him to give a message.
Twerk Tuesdays is what.
If somebody's
saves my recovery. I'm
struggling,
being
what would you tell
serious.
them, Wade?
If it's not.
If somebody is struggling, reach out and talk to somebody. Your struggle is not special. You're not special. And you'll never know it unless you share your story with somebody and let them share their story.
Thank you very much.
Can I redo mine?
Yeah. Thank you guys for coming. Thanks for having you guys, man. I'll put up all your information.
Thank you.
You're welcome to come back whenever you want to.